Have I ever hired someone that I questioned their core value fit and it actually worked out? Never. This one mistake cost me millions of dollars, and I want to help you avoid it in this video. Now, this is a classic cliche mistake, but all of us as business owners are almost bound to make it at one point or another. And so what I want to do is really help you avoid this mistake in your business and know how to spot the signs for yourself so you can avoid it. Now, the mistake is this. The mistake is letting people stay on your team who do not fit your core values. Now, this seems obvious, right? We talk about, and people talked about since the dawn of business books, they talk about not just hiring for skill, but also hiring for culture fit, hiring for core value fit. And here's the thing, they talk about hiring for culture fit and core value fit. But here's the challenge. What happens when things evolve within a business or evolve within people that then make someone who was previously a fit no longer a fit for that team? Well, that's when things get really interesting and honestly get pretty dangerous pretty fast. If you're watching this video and you feel like you might be in the same spot, this could be the most valuable and most beneficial video you watch basically all year. Because this is the advice that I wish I had heard about a year ago, and it really honestly cost me millions of dollars over this last year. And so I want to give this piece of advice to you. And it's this. I had to learn and relearn time and time again that when I was hiring people, and this was the earliest piece of this, when I was hiring people, that I needed to hire for culture fit and core value fit. Now, I don't necessarily like to use culture fit. I like to use the term core value fit. And you gotta get clear on what your core values actually are. We've got a very clear core values. It's lead. Lead with passion and excellence, empower successful clients, act with integrity, and dream and grow together. Now, those are our core values. You wanna get clarity on what your core values are as well. It's really important to make sure that you get clarity on that. But once you have core values, it's important that you actually live by them, encourage your team to live by them, and hire and, when necessary, fire people if they do not live up to those core values. And trust me, this can be a really hard lesson to learn. Now, here's the thing. I learned probably actually about a year ago that I really, for the last time, learned the lesson on the hiring side. I remember this was about a year and a half ago. We had already made the decision we're going to hire people based on our core values and hire them based on skills. They got to have core values and skills, or if we had to pick one or the other, core value with aptitude to learn the skills that they need for the role. But we kind of, sometimes you see somebody and you just get enamored with their skills, with all the stuff that they have. I remember there was somebody for a particular role and they had all these awards, all these accolades. They seemed like the perfect candidate. I remember even asking myself, why do they want to work here? They've got all these rewards, all these accolades, all these, incredible things. And I started to get a little greedy. I was like, oh, I want them. This is great. We're going to bring them into the business. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to be able to brag, right? So hiring for the wrong reason. Oh, I've got this person who has these awards, all these things. And they came onto the business and they were absolutely not the right culture fit. And the interesting thing is the accolades and the skills that they had, right, again, which I'm not putting into question, but they were not able to shine because they did not meld into the culture. Now, by the way, this is not to say anything wrong about that person, because somebody might meld perfectly into a different culture but not fit yours. So one person's perfect culture fit could be somebody else's worst culture fit. It just depends on what the culture is within your business. And so what we learned from that situation is, this person was not the best fit for the role. And it was that day that I vowed that I would not make this mistake again, because I asked myself a simple question on the hiring side. And by the way, if you're watching this video, make sure you stay tuned, because I'm going to talk about the more insidious way that this gets into your business and the way that really can cause some serious damage. It's not just about hiring. We're going to talk about that in a second. But on the hiring side, it's about a year ago, I learned this lesson. What we ended up having to do is let this person go. There were challenges and issues, things that came up, and really not only not the work being done the right way, but it was bringing other team members down, and just this person was not a good fit for the team. And so one of the things that we saw in this case is you don't want to hire people that aren't a core value fit. And I asked myself this one simple question. I challenge you to ask yourself this too. Have I ever hired someone that I questioned their core value fit and it actually worked out. Never. Not a single person. I remember talking with my COO, Julia, and I was bringing up this question. I was, because shortly thereafter, you always get tested with things like this, right? Shortly thereafter, we were faced with an opportunity for a potential candidate that did not align with our core values, but had tremendous skills. And I said, absolutely not. Straight veto. And from that point on, we have never, and we strive to, right, not hire somebody that doesn't align with our core values. And the reason for that is we have never hired someone, and if you ask yourself this, we have never hired someone that did not align with the core values that then molded themselves to align with the core values and was a good decision. Every single person we've bended the rules around or said, hey, I think we can overlook this one fact. Every single person is no longer on our team, did not work out, was not the best fit. And so you want to save yourself the time, effort, energy, and money and opportunity cost of hiring the right person by just not hiring them in the first place. Because I can tell you in that role, we hired somebody else who's absolutely phenomenal, incredible, doesn't have the accolades, but who cares, right? They actually do their job 10 times better and are more of a positive, uplifting force on the team. And so that's exactly what you want to see. Now, you might be thinking, this is the first half of the video, I already know that. Great, you know that. But that's what I thought too. And then the next mistake that I made cost me millions of dollars. So I want to help you avoid the second mistake because we're going to go a layer deeper. By the way, if you're getting value from this video, make sure you like the video, share it with someone else that needs to see this message. This is really important. I'm speaking from the heart here. Hopefully you can see this. This is a very important message. And be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We talk about business growth. We talk about pitfalls, mistakes to avoid. We talk about YouTube ads, omnipresent retargeting. We talk about the fun stuff, the marketing, the sexy stuff, but we also talk about the down and dirty, the things to avoid, the things to do to ensure that your business is successful. Because again, I'm not perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes and I want to allow you to learn from those mistakes in your business as well. So the big mistake that cost us millions of dollars in our business was not checking up on if the existing people on our team still fit our core values as a team and where we're going. Now, what I want to say that again is not consistently checking up on the different team members in our team that they are consistently aligned with our core values and where we're looking to go. Because here is the thing. It's actually very important as your company grows that you adapt and grow and really refine what it means to have your core values. And as a leader, as an entrepreneur, CEO, I know we've got a lot of marketing directors who watch these videos as well, right? Wherever you're at in your team, right? It's important for you as a leader to embody those core values. But it's also important for every single team member to embody those core values. And so what sometimes happens is different team members, one of two things. They may drift away, right? They may drift away from the core values. Something happens in their life, things come up, whatever it happens to be, they stop being diligent about having those core values. Or maybe there was a facade, right? And that starts to fade and you start to see the true colors. Now again, this does not mean, this is not a black and white, somebody's good or bad. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, do they actually embody the values that you have as a company? By the way, if you're watching this, you don't have core values, I highly recommend identifying what your core values are. A great way to start diving into that is Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. You can start with your why mission and then build core values off the back of that. So recommend diving into that. That being said, it's really important to ensure and check up with your team that everyone on your team actually still aligns with those core values. Because what we started to see is people shifting over time, but also what happens more often than not is sometimes the company evolves, right, where the company actually starts to outgrow some of its team members that maybe fit core values in the past. And so one of the things you want to look at is just because someone, when you hire them or in an earlier phase, fit those core values doesn't necessarily mean that they align with those core values longer term as the company continues to grow and the company continues to evolve. And that can be a really challenging thing. One of the most challenging, hardest things to look at is people that have been a valued part of your team that have contributed different things, but then they just do not anymore align with those core values and the values that you have as a company. And I think that's one of the hardest things to really wrestle with as an entrepreneur and a leader. But I also really want to encourage you to respect and look at your team. We've got a 50-person team now. And one of the things that we really look at is I can't be the one that sees that in all different areas of my team. Now, depending on the size of your team, it might be that way, it might be a different way. It really just depends on where you're at within your company. But you may or may not be able to see specifically, these particular people or whatever it happens to be. And you need to rely on your team and trust your team, not just your former judgment or how you feel about someone. You want to also trust your team and your team's judgment as well. And so, for instance, we had somebody, who was inside of our sales department that started off as more of a core value fit, and then, this person just kind of evolved away from that, right? So I'll give you a couple examples. And that was really not just affecting them, it was affecting the rest of the team. So while their independent results were good because they were a natural born salesman, they were not really fully aligned with our core values as a company, the core values that we want to impart and the way that we want to actually live up to our team. And so we started to really see that, and it took me far too long to let that person go because I got clouded by, and honestly, a little greedy, right? With, hey, they're bringing in this revenue, and fearful, not even greedy, it's more fear, right? It's like, they're bringing in this, what if we pull this back? What if our other people don't step up to that area? Ends justify the means, or maybe they're not the best core value fit, but they're bringing people in that we're able to help, and the people that they've brought in, we've transformed their lives. It's incredible. But what I really looked at and what I really saw was this is affecting the rest of the team and it's capping our growth. And what we need to do is we need to live by our core values. And it's not just something that's up on a wall. It's here, in our offices in Austin, Texas. We have it up on the wall, but it's also something we live by every single day. So if people start to veer off that path, you want to make sure that you have those critical conversations. And then if that still continues to happen, you need to make sure that you don't just hire based on core values, but you also redeploy people based on core values as well. What's even more challenging is when people were part of those core values early on, and then they just start to, the business starts to outgrow them. And so that's one of the other challenges as well, and we've faced some of that as well. And I remember conversations that I had where I had leaders come to me on my team, like executives, and say, hey, I think we need to redeploy this person. And by the way, that's a better term than letting someone go or firing them. It's redeploying, right? Because these are great people, these are individual people, but they just might not be the best fit for this team or embody the core values that our team needs. And that can be really challenging, especially when you cultivate relationships with people as well. And when that was brought to me, I said, well, hey, what I observe of this person is they do embody our core values. But you really want to make sure that you trust your team, because you start to hear about, as an entrepreneur, there's things that you're going to miss, right? And so you want to make sure that you actually ask, well, why do you say that? What's going on here? Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not alignment. Do you have a conversation about that? Yes, we did. Do you have a conversation about that? Yes, we did. Did you say, hey, this is a final warning? Yes, we did. And I think that's one of the things that can be really tough as an entrepreneur is sometimes you don't see the full operating side of every individual person. And so it's really important that you trust your team, that you make decisions, not just hiring decisions based on core values, but also retention decisions off of core values too. And the other question that I think is really powerful to ask yourself, because if you, and I made this video for those of you that are dealing with this right now, that are looking at this right now, you're not alone, right? I've dealt with these things. It's cost me literally millions of dollars. But what you have to do is, it's not being mean or cold-hearted, right? Or calculating. Instead, it's actually being gracious, not just to your business and the other members of your team, but to that person. Because if there's friction within a team, it's actually in their best interest and in your best interest to part ways at that point if it's irreparable. And so that's the thing that you need to do. So you need to make sure that you embody your core values within every single member of your team. And what we have put in place now is quarterly checkups to ensure, literally go through every single team member that we have. Are they embodying all of our core values? We're able to see, okay, they embody this. With us, it's lead with passion and excellence, empower successful clients, act with integrity, dream and grow together. We want to double check that and ensure. Now, also having conversations with people, because you don't want to just go from 0 to 100, but if you have conversations with people about them not living up to the core values and they do not change, then it's not you that needs to change, because one or the other is going to happen. If you have conversations, someone's going to change. Either they're going to change, or if they don't change, the business is going to start to change, because they're going to affect the business, right? Just one person can affect a business. And so what you need to do at that point is have that redeployment conversation. It's a hard one to have, it's a hard lesson to learn, but it's also a very valuable lesson. And I'll pose this question to you, is to really think about this. If you've ever let someone go, was there ever a scenario where you as a company were not in a better position because of it, and where they as an individual were not in a better position because of it? And I can't think of a single one. And so that is exactly why you owe it to yourself, to your team, and to those people, having that full alignment to actually ensure that everyone lives up to the core values that you have. And so it's really important that you make these core value decisions, because that's what's going to allow you to propel the success of your overall business. So that's the mistake and the learning lesson that cost me millions of dollars. But now that I've learned it, we are rock solid on implementing it. We have full clarity on exactly what we need to do as a company and what's going to be best for our team, for all of our team members, and for our clients going forward. And I highly recommend that you get clarity on this too. Core values, hire based on core values, and redeploy based on core values, and have that system in place to check up on your team members, with your leadership team, who are the team members that are maybe not embodying those core values, and reward those that are with things like core value awards. We have those, we give those out. We actually give away Dream Team Dream Vacations. Every single quarter we give away 2 vacations, some of our top team members that embody the values. But you also have to look at the other side as well. And so that's the most important lesson. And let me know if that was valuable in the comments down below. Share this video. If you want me to do more videos like this, where I'm kind of raw, I'm just talking about experience, literally things that have cost me millions of dollars, because that's how much money we lost, specifically with, you know, the sales situation, with some of the other situations as well. But it's not just about loss, it's also the flip side. That's how much we stand to gain by learning this knowledge. So if I can part that on you, it's definitely worth it. So make sure you subscribe, stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.